What's up, everybody?
Oh, why did I do that?
Welcome to
it's in my mask.
welcome to Socially Distance Insert. Matt and I are outside here at Evike.com.
Yes, we are.
And it is
finally a nice
finally
day.
a decent day. No smoke.
Yeah.
Nice and cool. We actually are very happy. We just got these masks back in stock. We have all the colors again, so they're great. You can put a filter inside. Very comfortable. You know, overall, one of my favorite masks to wear.
So if you missed your opportunity to get Multicam Black and Tiger Stripe, now's your chance.
Yeah.
Since they're back in stock.
Yep. All right, welcome to Socially Distance Insert. We have a few announcements.
Yep.
Matt, take it away.
Well, it's October, and October is usually the month for planning and preparation for AirsoftCON. If you joined us for AirsoftCON 2019, we're gonna miss you in person because 2020 is gonna be a little bit different, obviously because of all the current restrictions and for considerations for health and safety and crowd size. Having 4,000 people in our parking lot just doesn't make sense.
No.
We're moving AirsoftCON to be kind of a week of customer appreciation on all of our social media. And so rather than put everyone at risk, we wanted to give back to you guys, the players, by holding a whole host of giveaways and content on both our Instagram and Facebook, as well as putting out some videos and exclusive content on YouTube. So it will be happening the week of AirsoftCON, which is the 18th through the 24th?
19th through 20.
18th through the 24th? It's the week of AirsoftCON. And in addition to doing giveaways that whole week, we'll be holding competitions in order to give away things. So if you guys love our costume or gear competition, make sure that you tune into our social media to take part in that. You might want to start prepping a gear contest for that. We're also going to be doing a gun building contest to see who comes up with the most creative or interesting gun build. We're going to be doing a giveaway to the winner of that as well. We might also do a shooting challenge giveaway where we challenge you guys to come up with a fun, exciting way to shoot down a couple can targets. So get your can targets. So get your can targets and get your airsoft guns ready and grab somebody who can film for you, a relative, or set it up on a tripod and see if you can come up with a way to film that, because we're going to be doing that kind of giveaway as well. And what else are we doing? We're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
We'll have one giant raffle on the Saturday of AirsoftCON that was supposed to be. Yep. Basically, the way to enter that raffle will be listed on our social media, and you'll have a bunch of chances. A bunch of vendors are donating a lot of prizes to be able to give back to the community, give back to Airsoft. You know, it's been an interesting year, and Airsoft's still thriving, still doing well, so we're happy about that. And we're just going to make sure that we give back to the players and thank all of you for doing so, for helping, for really, you guys have been ordering, you guys have been, really good customers for years and years and years. We want to thank you for that. So
with no strings attached, other than having to participate in the competitions.
Yeah, so
we're also going to be doing a
media.
mid-month Not So Roundtable. We're going to get the whole marketing team in here. So if you guys like Insert and you want to see answers from more members of the marketing team, Mason, Richard, Ryan, Chris, we're going to try to get everybody in here. We might even try to do it live. I'm not sure. We haven't decided yet how we're going to do it.
We're not doing live.
Well then.
But we will be here. It'll be an interesting show. We'll get more details. That'll come out on the Wednesday before AirsoftCON, which is going to be the 21st.
No, that is. Oh yeah.
21st is Wednesday. And more details to follow. Stay tuned on our social media for more announcements and more information if you're interested in that. And I know the big question that everybody has is, will there be discounts?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Those discounts will be released on our social media pages, so make sure you follow those
In fact, if you
discounts.
tune into our social media, you might get some advance notice of said discounts and get first dibs at exclusive stuff that's going to be discounted. And as a follow-up to that, I'm sure there will be another AirsoftCON box of awesomeness, which means you guys heard it here first. Make sure you're checking both the Evike.com main page as well as our social media for announcements on when that's going to drop as well. Without further ado, should we get into the questions?
Start us off.
All right.
These questions were submitted. We had some left over from last week, and so we have a good amount of questions. We're happy to answer them.
Yeah. This one's not Airsoft related at all.
Okay.
This one's from episode 77. Cesar Lopez asked, Dear Insert, Matt and George, what is your favorite type of music, and what is your favorite band?
Okay. That's tough.
I find it tough to pick a favorite overarching band of all the genres of music I listen to.
Yeah,
right?
you listen to
Yeah.
a very wide variety of music, and I do as well. Maybe not as much as other people, but definitely an interesting question. There's some people who really kind of have like that singular focus with music, and there's some people who have a very broad sense of music of what they like.
Sure.
I think you and I both fit into that category where we have the music we grew up with, which we like.
Yeah.
We have music that has memories for us in our youth in terms of teenagers, stuff like that, and we have newer age music that we like, and even stuff before we were born that we like.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question. Probably my favorite genre of music is probably, my favorite genre of music is probably what I listen to the least nowadays.
Oh, okay.
And that would probably be punk rock. I
didn't know that.
I'm just thinking of, no, that's just from my youth. That's just from me being a teenager up until college. Like, that was just going to concerts. When I moved to college, like, luckily when I was going to college, there was lots of concerts from bands I really liked that were at where I was a lot, and the shows were cheap, and I wasn't 21 yet, so I couldn't drink. So going to spending $50 for a concert, or not $50, I think it was like 20 something. I don't remember. All I know it wasn't breaking my bank. All I could drink is water, and I had a great, was able to see a lot of bands I didn't get an opportunity to see before. So, hard rock as well.
Yeah.
So I would say that in terms of my favorite band, that's tough. I'm gonna have to think about that. So maybe we'll.
Well, okay, so in stark contrast to your adventures at concerts, I've only been to one rock concert my whole life.
So when I was in college, my first week in college, I'll just say where I went to college in Las Vegas, and House of Blues at Mandalay Bay it was a very small venue, but they used to book a lot of. There was a 4-week timeline when I first moved to college where I saw 9 bands.
Holy crap! Okay.
That I wanted to see. Some of them were looped together, and some of them were not. Some bands I've never seen live before, and like for example, one of them was Powerman 5000. Powerman 5000 didn't do a lot of shows back in that time frame, or pretty much ever.
Yeah.
And that was like that year they did like 2 or 3 shows that entire year or something like that. And who'd opened for them? I think it was either In Flames or Dope. I don't remember. I think it was In Flames. So saw both those bands I never would have seen, But anyway, that was. I agree with you. Like before then, like there were Warped Tours and things like that.
Yeah.
Warped Tour is not really the same as like seeing a band do a full set. Like doing a 30-minute set at Warped Tour is kind of one thing, but
in fact,
going to live shows is way different.
It was, and it was an interesting thing because I wasn't even at this concert as a viewer. I was helping to film a documentary about the concert. and it was as a favor with a couple friends of mine and I. We went to high school with the drummer from Oingo Boingo, his kids.
Okay.
And we were real good friends with them, and so we went to an Oingo Boingo concert. And it was like them getting back together, and this was after Danny Elfman was a total dick and tried to take the rights to their music, and so Danny wasn't at the concert, thank God, because BT4 was their singer and he was fantastic. But anyway, that's the only concert I've ever been to. I listen to a wide range and variety of music, everything from house music and techno to classic rock to more like folk music, I'm kind of all over the place. I even listen to, I'd say one of my favorite rock bands of all time is probably Tool.
Tool's a good band, for sure.
I really like how technical they are, and how varied their time signatures are. I really appreciate that. But at the same time, I also love like Genesis and Phil Collins and Peter Gabriel and Sting, and so I don't know, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you actually my wife and I get into arguments all the time. She's really into the 80s, and I really don't like the 80s mostly.
Yeah.
There's a few exceptions, but most of the 80s, most 80s music I don't like.
Yeah.
a lot of 90s music, later 90s, you had a few up-and-comers, towards the end of the decade that were pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Offspring. I don't really, I know Blink-182 was very popular at that time. I don't really like a lot of their music.
Yeah.
It was, but I would say, like, I don't really have a favorite band.
Right.
But I do have a favorite band to see live.
Oh, okay.
My favorite band to see live, and I've seen them probably more than any other band in multiple cities, and that is just because I've been at different locations in my life, and that would actually be Flogging Molly. And the reason is their shows are just hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Could I listen to Flogging Molly forever? No,
Yeah.
I could not. Actually, probably if I put their music on too much, I'd probably get sick of it pretty quick.
Well, that's the nice thing
but
about being able to
being at a live show for them. I've been to a lot of concerts. I've been to a lot of harder bands.
Yeah.
In pits for those bands, and I would say nothing compares to a Flogging Molly like live show in the ground floor standing. It's just crazy.
Got it.
It actually brings up like my favorite memory of, it was a show in Las Vegas, and like there were these people who went to this Flogging Molly show who were like dressed like they were going to the club.
Wait,
and like the girl was in like decked out to the nines.
Nice.
And they went to the ground floor.
I feel like that's the wrong kind of show to be dressed like that.
Oh yeah, no, they went to
okay.
the ground floor, and I'm like, they're like passing, they're like shoving people out of the way. I'm like, what the heck are these people doing? I'm like, I was like, this person's gonna get this woman's gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, she came out. I think she was missing like a shoe and a bunch of other stuff.
They're known for like mosh pits, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a pit like a circle pit like you'd have at some other shows. It's more along the lines of just the whole bottom floor is just bouncing.
Oh wow!
So like you don't hang on like if you
don't hang on to something.
you pretty much just go with the flow.
Got it.
Of whatever's going on. Very fun show. Lots of high energy. But yeah, anyway, that would be the band I'd want to see live if I had one more band to see live.
That's cool.
That's a good question though. But you definitely have a good variety of music as well.
I wish I had a specific favorite.
You know what? I think it's better to have a wide variety of music because then you don't get sick of anything. Like,
yeah, true.
I mean, like I just said, like, would I, even though this is one of my favorite bands going back to when I was in college or high school, would I listen to Flogging Molly every day while I'm in the car? Heck no.
Yeah.
It's just, there's only so many albums,
That's true too. It's not like they're continuing to bust out albums.
Not really. I mean, they have a decent amount, but it's not like I can just keep going through with that. There's some, that's the thing is about bands. They have their glory, like look at Linkin Park, like,
Dude, everyone, it's funny, like they actually addressed that, because I listen to Linkin Park too. It's just like, look, you guys would have criticized us if we continued to make the same music, and you criticized us for changing as artists, because as an artist, you constantly evolve. Your scope of the world has changed. Your understanding of music has changed. And so either you change and people hate you, or you stay the same and people hate you. So you can't, just make music and enjoy it.
Well, I mean, it's you have to understand is that no band is ever going to be perfect through their entire career in terms of putting out albums and having everybody love those albums. Right. There's eventually going to be a fall off. And it's up to the band to recognize of like, okay, the fall off is here. Maybe it's time to start a new project or whatever. Yeah. I'm not criticizing Linkin Park. I think they put on a great show. I love them as a band. Definitely one of my favorite bands. They're also very talented in terms of their early albums of how many good tracks were on their original albums.
That's true.
That was insane.
I remember listening to Hybrid Theory and like every song was good.
Yeah, almost like for most albums during this is the time of CDs. When we bought CDs, like you'd buy an album, you give like 3 songs you really like, maybe.
For those of you young airsofters that don't know, a CD stands for compact disc, and it's what we used to put into thin slots to listen to music. And you were limited to 12 to 20 tracks, depending on track length.
Yes.
You don't have that problem now because your phone can play music for you. God, we're old. We've spent way too much time on music. You want to do an airsoft question?
Sure. I'm sorry. Like, I think I put that question in there. I didn't think it would ramble on.
I think it was fantastic. Now you guys know a little bit more about George and me.
Yeah, so you can argue with us or praise us or hate us or what have you. This is from episode 81. This is Squanto Squats.
That's a good name.
Hey guys, I used old Woodland BDUs and it's getting hard to find. So would you recommend I start transitioning towards Multicam or something like that?
Never change. You rock your Woodlands.
Woodland's making a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a bunch of gear companies now putting out Cordura Woodland equipment.
And like limited runs too. The Haley Woodland micro rig sold out in like a day.
Yeah, well, I mean, their stuff keeps selling out.
That's true.
Spiritus as well, Faro as well. But, I mean, Woodland's a really capable camo.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest, I think the only reason that the military, this is all speculation, I have no fact to back this up,
yeah.
but I think the only reason they probably phased out Woodland was for two reasons. Number one, our shift from into desert areas for, during, starting with the Gulf War and then, and then going on, towards Afghanistan, the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq and what have you. I think even then, I think they just transitioned from money.
I think it's
like,
money.
I really think it was a money thing,
Yeah.
I think Woodland is a very capable camo.
So is DCU and Chocolate Chip for that matter.
DCU is definitely, I think, okay. Yeah. I think Chocolate Chip, probably not so much.
I mean, it worked well in one country.
Yeah, it's but it has a lot of contrasting points.
Right.
Multicam is very effective.
Yes.
Very effective. But if you like Woodland, stick with Woodland. Yeah. Like, I mean,
I think the idea that you needed other colors of multicam is ridiculous. The whole point of multicam is it's multi-camouflage. Like it works in both green and tan environments. I don't see why you would need a more green or a more tan one.
I think a good, like, if you remember in, what was that movie? Act of Valor, when the jungle sequence, they're wearing multicam combat shirts.
Yeah.
The Gen 1 Cries, and it just got this big white shirt.
That's true.
That thing stuck out like crazy. I'm like, you're in a jungle and you're trying to be camouflaged. So I do understand.
So the color of the body, sure.
Arid probably is the least transitional of that.
Especially because don't most of the services just put on like a white coverall for like snow environments and stuff? So
I was talking about Arid.
Oh, Arid.
Alpine.
Which one's the Alpine? Sorry, never mind.
I mean, you were wearing Alpine earlier. I mean, I think multicam black is cool.
It is cool.
It definitely looks cool.
It made black fashionable again as a clothing color for military stuff.
I think maybe that's the shift. Is maybe even for those kind of camos, maybe it's that Crye Precision's realizing it's almost like a fashion thing too. And
it's Gucci, man.
Here's the thing: when they came out with Tropic, it was like, oh, this is good for Airsoft.
It's Woodland.
It's Woodland, but I mean, Tropic's a very effective color too. Mm. I think it's definitely, but multicam is very, very effective.
Yeah.
So that pretty much solves a lot of the camo problems, and it will probably be our mainstay camo for a long period of time. It might even outlast Woodland, to be honest with you.
To give you an update for existing camouflages, if you've got an old ratty pair of Woodlands that are not gonna last, there are a handful of companies like Proper and 511 and
Rothko. I think even 511 still makes, or not 511, sorry, TrueSpec, I think still makes Woodland.
And they still make Woodland, and you can still find it. If you wanted something in the upper echelon Gucci level of camouflages, there are not a whole lot of brands that make M81. Every once in a while, you can find a limited Crye run that's going to cost you $800, and I don't advise you do that. I have a set of Beyond clothing Woodlands, which I love. Those pants are great.
I mean, actually, here's a. Now that you're on that, like, having owned all the different kind of pants, those Beyond pants are like my favorites.
I do wish. Okay, so I got on the UF Pro train. Okay, I resisted for a long time because I was like, Crye or die.
UF Pros are good.
I gotta say, the UF Pros are quite nice, and I got him multicam black because I needed a Battle Lab outfit, but I do wish they came in old school standard camo colors. Like, I wish UF Pro would make either a DCU or an M81, and they don't make either.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. But I think that's also because they're not US based, right? Or does that matter?
European based, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
shall we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we don't need that. All right.
Whoever's questioned that.
This one's all the way back from episode 5. I think you deep dove this one. Aaron Yeager. Is there such a thing as a useless player, as in addition to that question, posted this 6 times. LOL.
I remember going through these videos. I saw that question. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good.
So is there such thing as a useless player?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
But who is that useless player?
I would say that with Airsoft, there's definitely that that meme that, and what I mean by that is there's these instances where people leave the game early, go to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or the players who disappear for a long period of time and
Yeah.
apparently had a very epic battle somewhere.
Somewhere that no one could see.
Somewhere no one could see.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay, so
I'm not gonna insult.
that's fair.
Too much.
So most of my experience, obviously, is indoor with like mout style play, and from my personal experience, I feel like the most useless thing to do as a player is to get to a corner or a choke point and then to stop. So for me, it's not so much is there a useless player, because we all have days when we're not, being the most effective, but there are useless strategies. And when you're talking about a game where attrition makes the difference between winning and losing that game, owning the field is going to give you the best possible chance of winning that game, then simply stopping at the first row of buildings or first set of corners you get to is really ineffective and useless as a strategy in the game of attrition that really makes or breaks most MOUT and CQB games. So if you want to avoid that useless behavior, don't just stop at the first corner you get to. Are you going to encounter fire? Yeah, but the nice thing about Airsoft is you regen. So if you take the hit so that the guys behind you can move up and win that game of attrition that's going to win you that game on the field. Don't be afraid to get shot at. It's fun.
I mean, I think with Airsoft, I think that brings up one really good point, and that is when you're in a 1v1 in Airsoft, so let's say you're playing a game of elimination or something like that.
Yeah.
It is very rare for the player who never moves from that location to win.
Oh yeah,
Extremely
you just
rare.
want to hunker down.
And the reason is because if you stay in that one place and the other player's moving,
yeah.
you may think he's over here, but he's actually about to shoot you in the back.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing is
He'll pull a Ryan Hasegawa on you.
yeah, moving around and taking new angles is, especially when it comes to indoor CQB, is one of the crucial things. Like you don't win a lot of fights by re-peeking corners over and over again.
No.
You just don't. You have to figure out a way to overpower or flank.
Well, I mean, dude, look at all the criticism Speed QB and Speedsoft players get, right? They get a lot of criticism for their style of play, and their style of play is very aggressive. There's a reason why in every CQB field, the guys running that Speedsoft strategy are the ones at the end of the game still running around. That movement, that aggressiveness is what wins games. You don't see those guys sitting in the back. No one would be complaining about them if they were just sitting still. Like, the reason people are upset oftentimes is because that aggressive play style wins games, and it sucks to be on the receiving end. So rather than attack those guys, learn a more aggressive style of play.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work for you, there's always Nerf.
And it's it's all, that's a good way to put it. It's always there.
I'm sorry, guys. We want you here. I want you here. And now our last question.
This is from episode 5 as well.
Oh, wow.
This is from Mondo Arleno. Arleno?
Mondo Arleno.
Arleno, I think. My pronunciation's terrible, so I'm sorry if I butcher your name. If you're still watching the channel, I hope you are. This was 6 years ago. He asks, do you think that Airsoft would ever be on TV like paintball?
No. Certainly hope not, because I think that's what killed paintball.
I think that was actually probably, everybody knows what paintball is, though.
Yeah.
A lot of people know what paintball is. You say, oh, paintball, they know. Airsoft's not that word yet.
True.
Will it be on TV? Like, quite honestly, I think that, I don't know.
Paintball worked on television because you could see the markers hitting players. And it was really easy to tell who was hit. for a spectator. I'm not even talking about for a ref who has to call the game.
Yeah.
For a spectator, imagine watching football and not being able to see the ball. Right? Like all you're seeing is a bunch of people running around and you don't know really what's happening. You're just being told who scored. Like that doesn't make any sense.
So I cannot see airsoft being on TV the way paintball was in terms of competitive airsoft being on TV.
On a force-on-force?
Yes.
Absolutely.
However, I can see airsoft being on TV
as a shoot house.
As something that is less of a sport and more of a tool being utilized for something.
Like I could see the G&G World competition being televised because it's a course that you can set cameras in, pointing at the targets and then watching the players go through it. But then is it really all that different from like American Gladiator with airsoft guns?
Which would be really cool.
That would be cool. I agreed. But yeah.
I mean, like I can't foresee it being a competition-based thing on television. Now that's being said, that's just because television is the mainstream. Could I see airsoft being televised on Twitch? Absolutely.
Sure.
Could I, it already has been on live streams.
It's like a web series.
Yeah, like SpeedQB has been on, certain things and certain platforms, so it's definitely there.
But also, so I've also watched their coverage, and it certainly feels to me like the announcer has to describe to the viewer what they're seeing. Like even as a viewer, they've got guys in camera, watching the game, but I still don't necessarily see what's happening. I'm just being told it by the announcer. So to me, that's radio coverage with an overall view of the field.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is maybe this is a saying that I don't know if this is a saying or not, but maybe this is something that needs to be a saying. It's like, do we need to make airsoft a sport for it to be fun?
No.
And, maybe I worry sometimes that maybe too many people are trying to make it into something it's not. Just there's nothing wrong with just enjoying something.
Yeah.
For what it is.
Yeah.
There really isn't anything wrong with enjoying something for what it is, in my opinion. I know that there'll be some, we work with a lot of people and they may even have disagreements if they think they can do this and stuff like that. But for me personally, I sometimes the most fun I have in airsoft is not with a camera, not thinking about what stuff looks like and just enjoying the moment.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
No, I agree. It's, but I think the kind of the basis of most games, there is a winner and a loser in the game, right? And so I think that fuels that competitive nature, which, inspires people to take it to the next level. There's always people who want to get better. So I can understand why that kind of progression of things happens. But yeah, no, I completely agree. I think people sometimes take it too seriously.
Well, I mean, it's basically like if you look at real gun sports, you look at the ascension of competitive shooting. Mm-hmm. Like competitive shooting didn't really used to be what it is now. Like if you look at IDPA or you look at IPSC or you look at 3Gun or you look at all these different platforms that enable people to do shooting matches, it was never really like that, a long time ago.
Really?
It was, like if you went to a shooting competition, it was like rifle accuracy type thing,
Yeah.
And then after that, there was, before that, there was really nothing. It was just, you used it as a tool to go hunting or in war, obviously, but it wasn't really thought of that way.
Right.
As a competition.
Now it is, of course.
Now it is, though. Like, on a way bigger scale than it ever was. And that's not even televised yet.
Yeah. I'd watch some airsoft skeet shooting.
Airsoft skeet shooting?
With like APS, like shotguns.
Oh. We got to make that work.
Like, why not? Like, I'd watch that. I don't know if you could break a clay pigeon with a airsoft
You could.
shotgun.
You just it would have to be really close to you.
Yeah.
Which would make it even harder to shoot.
Yeah. I'm down to try it. If you guys want to see us try to do airsoft skeet shooting with APS shotguns, comment in the section below and let us know. We'll see if we can try that.
Why not?
Or fail at it.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to end up using tagging rounds.
So I'll tell you what, if you stuck with the episode for this long, please leave comments in the section below of what you would like to ask us about during our special edition episode of AirsoftCON. It could be anything. We're going to have a huge amount of people here to really kind of go over these questions, maybe a special guest or two. So please put those questions in the comments below.
We're going to pull from this episode, I think.
Yeah, we'll pull from this episode. So make sure if you want your question answered that you put your comment down below.
We love answering your questions. So if you have any questions, even if you don't intend to ask them for the AirsoftCON Special Edition, please comment in the section below and we'll do our best to try to answer them and keep you guys entertained. As always, we appreciate you guys. Please stay healthy and safe out there. And hopefully we'll see you in person very soon.
If you stuck with us for this 6 years, I think, yeah, based off of this last comment, this 6 years, please leave a comment in the section below saying, hey, I've been with you guys since episode 2, 3, 4, 1. Let us know. We're very curious of how long you guys have been sticking with us and watching the show, and we'll catch you next time.